summit, temporarily at least, in The Hague yesterday.
That's right. It's the G7 because, of course, there's that standoff between the US and Europe and Russia that's in the background. Let's start by looking at some cartoons. It's always fun to do that. The International New York Times has a cartoon by Chapat, which, well, talks about this. You can see Europe there saying, "Welcome back to President Obama," and Vladimir Putin in a tank saying, "To the 20th century." Meanwhile, China Daily takes a look at just what's expected of the president, and you can see Angela Merkel there pointing to a Captain America costume, asking Obama to try it on. Obama looks a little hesitant, but he is continuing to talk tough against Putin. This is the front page of the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. warns Russia, NATO stands ready. And the Wall Street Journal today focuses on the fact that, well, Vladimir Putin got the boot from the G8 summit, now the G7. This is very symbolic, says the Wall Street Journal today, but symbolism has its uses, and this suspension could sting at home because it could hurt his standing at home. And the Wall Street Journal says that if leaders want another symbolic way to embarrass him, well, we recommend pulling the 2018 World Cup from Russia. That would really hurt.
Very interesting indeed. Lots of tough talk, lots of symbolism, also quite a lot of skepticism going around.
That's right. There's a kind of ironic tone if you take a look at the front page of The Independent today. Put out more flags. The world's most powerful man allegedly leads the West's response to this escalating crisis in Ukraine. Now, Mary Dezhevsky is an analyst who knows a lot about Russia, and she says that there was a certain discomfort that could be sensed at his press conference yesterday. She says he's no natural warrior, so there were very strong words from Obama, but diplomacy is bound to follow.
Okay, and there was action sort of behind the scenes at the summit as well. Tell us more.
That's right. This is a story that's likely to be pretty explosive. You could read all about it in the Washington Post. These are 3 Secret Service agents who are responsible for protecting President Obama in Amsterdam this week. Well, they were sent home on Sunday, so a day before the president arrived, after a night of drinking.
Oh dear.
One of them, according to this article in the Washington Post, was actually found drunk and passed out in a hotel hallway. Now, this behavior would violate new Secret Service rules that were adopted in the wake of another scandal that took place in Colombia in 2012. Now, at that time, a dozen agents, they were drinking heavily. They brought prostitutes back to their room, and this created a media firestorm. This story could very well as well. The 3 agents have been put on administrative leave pending an investigation.
And still allegations at this point, we have to say. We'll move on to another story now, the continued search for the missing Malaysian Airlines plane.
That's right. This week, the Prime Minister of Malaysia said that satellite data had shown that the plane had almost certainly ended its journey in the Indian Ocean. But as you can see here on the front page of The Star, it's a Malaysian paper. Well, families of the passengers and the crew are really demanding concrete evidence. They talk about the burden of proof. Now, a lot of other countries are participating in the search for the plane, as we've just been talking about. China Daily, for instance, talks about the fact that China is going to be involved in this search. And you can see here a photo of family members there protesting because there's been a lot of anger over the way Malaysian authorities have been dealing with the whole situation. In its editorial, China Daily says the search really must continue and it must avoid the unsatisfactory communication of early days. You really owe this to relatives to find the plane and to find out what really happened.
Okay, Chinese press also focusing on a story that Stephen was just telling us about before in the business, the Chinese president's visit to France.
That's right. It started yesterday in Lyon. China Daily wonders, why Lyon? Why not Paris?
I'm sure Stephen knows. Why Lyon?
I think it was an effort to space things out because I didn't want to be running over the corners of the G7.
Okay, is that the reason?
Well, that's part of the reason. Also, Lyon actually has a symbolic tie to China. That's where the Sino-French Institute was located from 1921 to 1946. You can read about it in this article in China Daily that points out that Chinese leaders went there to study in the hope of modernizing their country by learning from the West. Well, today France has a lot to gain from China, as Stephen was telling us about. Let's take a look at some of the French press, what they're talking about. Aujourd'hui en France talks about a red carpet that's being laid out for these Chinese investors. France really hopes there'll be a lot of lucrative deals made. Let's take a look at a cartoon as well in Aujourd'hui en France, where you can see François Hollande. He's very eager to please his guests there. May I recommend our wines, perfume, and automobile industry? So we'll have to see if that actually works, if he actually orders that from the menu.
Well, he's already sampled the cheese and the wine, so we'll see. Thanks very much, Florence Firmino, with a look through the international papers there. Time for a short break here on Live from Paris. Coming up, our focus report. Basque separatists ETA say they've laid down their arms, but Spain still won't recognise the ceasefire or release prisoners. Our correspondents have been to meet families in the region who are saying it's time to move on.